Welcome to the School Home Connection. As a parent, you have many different roles and wear so many different hats.
Oh my goodness, he's so precious.
Yes, congratulations on the baby. I just have one last question here. What size hat do you wear?
Hat size? Why do you need to know that?
Well, now that you're a parent, you're gonna have to wear all of these hats.
Do I really have to wear all those hats?
Of course. I mean, unless you want to be a bad parent.
If I have to, I guess 22 inches?
Sounds great. We'll have these hats ready for you by the end of the day.
I'm gonna be the best dad ever.
As I mentioned in my video last week, we're going to be talking about the 3 most important things that you can do as a parent to help ensure your child gets what they need to be successful. And those 3 things are to monitor, support, and advocate for them. I want to give a big shout out to Right Question Institute. Their workshops on this topic are something that all schools should be doing. Unfortunately, most schools don't do very much parent education, and that's where I come in, your friendly neighborhood teacher. I know, not as cool as Spider-Man, but I still try and do some good, okay? Live from New York, Doc Ock is attacking the city, and the question on everybody's mind is, where is Spider-Man? Oh, Spider-Man? Yeah, I told him to take the day off. I got this one. Who are you? Well, I haven't really come up with a name yet. I was thinking like Teacher Man or Super Teacher. Pretty lazy naming if you ask me. Okay, hey, it's still a work in progress, all right? Just step back. I got this, okay? Doc Ock, you see all these children around here? They are very impressionable and you are being a bad role model, okay? So I need you to put that car full of people down on the count of 3 or I'm gonna have to call your mother. 1, 2... All right. So maybe I can't save New York, but hopefully I can save you as parents a lot of time and headaches by exploring and explaining 3 of the most important things that you can do as parents. The first hat we're gonna put on is our monitor hat. This is the foundation. In order to support and advocate for your child, first you have to build an understanding of who your child is. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? So you want to monitor how your child is developing academically, socially, emotionally, and more. It can be a bit tricky to find that balance of how much to monitor or how little to monitor, because too much and you're a helicopter parent. No one likes that, but too little and you don't know enough about your child in order to properly support and advocate for them. There's 2 big things that you can do to help strike that balance. The first thing is to look for quality of time versus quantity of time with your child. Engage in fun and productive activities, maintain open communication, and overall show that you are genuinely interested in who they are and what they have to say. The second big way to monitor your child while still striking that balance is to have conversations with those who have consistent interactions with your child. First and foremost, if you're married or in a relationship, you're going to be talking with your spouse or partner, discussing their interactions and what they've noticed and learned about your child. The second person I would recommend talking to is your child's teacher or teachers. They see your child in a very social and academic space that is away from you, the parents. You won't believe how many parents have been surprised by things I've told them during meetings. I've had parents in shock by the work that their child produces, and that's both good and bad. I've also had parents who have been very surprised by how vocal or quiet they are at school because they're the exact opposite at home. Monitoring your child will help give you a full understanding of who they are, how they're progressing, and what steps to take next, which leads to our next role, and that is support. Support answers the question of what can I do to help my child grow? So once you have an understanding through monitoring of some of the strengths and weaknesses of your child, you then need to decide how much independence or support you need to give. This again is another balancing act. Too much independence and your child might build bad habits or get too frustrated, especially if it's something they're already struggling with. Mom, Dad, can you help me tie my shoes? Back in my day, we were born knowing how to tie our shoes. That doesn't even make sense, Dad. Isn't that why kids have Velcro shoes? Because they don't have the fine motor skills to tie their own shoes? I knew we never should have got him those Velcro shoes. They've made him so weak. Mom, I'm right here. I can hear everything you're saying. You just keep at it, son. I'm sure you'll figure it out. Mom! Dad! Help! I don't even know how this happened. Too much support and your child won't grow at all. You'll basically be doing everything for them. Excuse me, Mr. Greenwall, can you help me tie my shoes? Hold up. Nathan, you're a senior in high school. Don't you know how to tie your own shoes? My mom always ties my shoes. I don't know how to do it. You just got accepted to college. You know how to write an essay for college, but you don't know how to tie your own shoes? She wrote that for me too. What else does your mom do for you? She cuts the crust off my bread. She folds my laundry. She reads my textbooks to me. She does basically everything for me. What are you gonna do when you go off to college? I don't know. I just figured she'd move into the dorm with me. Oh, Nathan. Alright, let's teach you how to tie your own shoes and then we'll figure out where to go from there. Finding that balance is incredibly important. The goal is to challenge your child without frustrating them too much. Challenges are how we grow as individuals. When we live in comfort, we don't grow. But when we're too frustrated by a challenge, we shut down. When supporting your child, you want to help them in a way that toes that line. Here are some tips that I use as a teacher that help me stay on track and find that balance. First is to model your thought process to a similar problem. This will help give your child some insights and ways of thinking about solving the current problem that they're facing. Second is to ask guiding questions or give clues. By doing this, you're guiding your child towards a solution, and in the future, they'll be able to ask themselves similar questions or look for similar clues to independently problem solve. Third is to make it relevant. Before something's relevant to a child, it's just some abstract idea or concept. But when it becomes relevant to their lives, it becomes more concrete and tangible. You know your child better than anybody else, so work to find connections between what they're learning and relevant aspects of their life. If you have any tips that have helped you find that balance as a parent, make sure to leave it in the comments and let the community know. It's important to consistently reflect on the support that you give, that way you can better support your child next time. It's going to take some time to find that balance, but I promise the more you practice and reflect, the easier it will become. When possible, I want to encourage you to be the one that supports your child because it's a great way for you and your child to bond. You get to develop a deeper understanding of their thoughts and thought processes, and they get to see you as a guide to help them navigate and understand this big and wide world. Now, it makes complete sense that often you don't have enough time to be able to provide all the support, or maybe the content is too complex for you to properly support. This is where we get to our third role, and that is to advocate. Advocating is where you become the voice for your child and reach out for help on their behalf. Children are still developing their reflection and communication skills, so oftentimes it's going to be on you to recognize and vocalize for the things that they're needing. This could be areas your child needs support due to them struggling, or it could be noticing a gift that your child has and looking to others to help propel that into a full-on talent. Advocating can take different forms. It can be reaching out to others who are experts, such as teachers, specialists at a school, or outside of school specialists like tutors, coaches, or doctors to help support your child. It could be discussing with friends, family, or online communities and getting advice from people who have had children who needed similar supports. It could be learning from experts and educating yourself on certain topics to better help your child. Just by watching this video, you're advocating for your child by learning how to monitor, support, and advocate for your child in the future. Advocating can be the toughest one for many because it requires you to admit that you can't provide everything for your child and that you need help as a parent. To those that struggle with this notion, I want to tell you that no one expects you to be able to provide everything for your child, and asking for help is an important part of life. I grew up as a very independent person, and when I started teaching, I kept this mentality. I thought that because I had studied hard and I'd been working with children for most of my life that I could do it all by myself. It took me a good year to finally realize that I did not know what I was doing and I needed help from others. It is very humbling, but it's also incredibly freeing once you're able to acknowledge that not only to yourself, but to others. I would be nowhere near the teacher I am today if I weren't willing to acknowledge my inadequacies and look to others to help me grow. So don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help if you're unsure about how to support your child with something. Both future you and your child will appreciate present you for doing that. Before I close out this video, I want to leave you with one final thought, and that's that independently, these three things are incredibly useless. If you're monitoring without supporting and advocating, you're just treating your child like an animal at the zoo. And if you're supporting without monitoring and advocating, you're just throwing things at a wall and hoping something sticks. And if you're advocating without supporting and monitoring, then you're just asking for help when you don't even know if your child needs that help. But fortunately, when you combine all three of these things together, they become the most powerful tool in your parenting toolbox. As your child grows and develops, continue to reflect upon and sharpen these skills. Thank you so much for watching this School Home Connection video. If you found this video helpful, it would help me out a lot to leave a like below. Make sure to subscribe so that you can stay up to date with new School Home Connection videos that come out every single week. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I love to hear from you and I reply to every single question. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have a great day. Keep learning, keep growing. Bye.